Hello and welcome again to yet another episode of Romancing Our Stones, your male survival guide to media and pop culture your girl will likely drag you to. I'm Alex.
And I am Matt, and we apologize for being tardy this week. Life happens, people, and you got to be okay with it. Just like sometimes life gives you clairs, and you got to make clarinade or clarinet.
I thought you said you got to make Claire an 8, and I was like,
Oh.
ouch, okay.
Oh, yeah,
We're going there right away.
Yeah. She may be an 8, but her asinine. Okay.
That's an intelligent pun. I like that.
Yeah, I can't take credit for it. What are you drinking?
Excuse me. Tonight, I am drinking the Paulaner. Is it Paulaner or Paulaner? It's a Paulaner München Hefeweizen, which, as you know, maybe some of our listeners know, Hefeweizens are my favorite beer to drink. So I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm looking forward to the next 30 to 40 minutes with you.
Nice. I'm drinking a Sierra Nevada,
huh?
hazy little thing IPA out of Chico, California. And it's a really good beer. It's really good. 6.7% alcohol.
They have a brewery in North Carolina, and one of these days you're going to come out with me. We'll go to their brew house, their tap house out there, and we'll get it straight from the tap.
We'll do a live pod.
Yes, once they sponsor us.
Live pod.
You heard us, Sierra Nevada.
Well, I'm excited, though, because today's a very this past episode was very special because it's essentially like, when you cut the dead weight, when the horse cuts the trailer off, finally can run free. We ditch Claire, which is something that is finally needed to be done. And
kind of, sort of, but yes.
No, wait, you can't just leave me with that. Kind of, sort of what?
Well, they do drag her. Let's just say she takes her dear sweet time exiting ungracefully, in my opinion. But
yes, I mean, she demonstrates how out of touch with reality she is.
Sure.
Let's go straight to that because they interrupt our happiness with reminding us the time that we had issues. And
let's fill our listeners in with the progression of the episode. So it starts with Claire pieces out. The guys are waiting for who knows who, right? So
correct.
I guess Claire leaving was last episode, right?
Yeah.
So we open up with the guys waiting. Tayshia walks in, and then as soon as you start getting excited about what's about to happen with Tayshia and then the guys, we got to break to Dale and Claire on their tell-all. And it's like, good Lord. And to be honest, they broke into that within I think 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes and 25 minutes into the episode. And I thought, dear God, if the rest of this episode is going to be the two of them talking, I was gonna turn it off.
I felt the same way too because Chris came out and he's like, we would be watching Tayshia start her journey to love, but instead we're stuck with this shit. And I have to ask certain questions because the producers want me to make it apparently clear that they didn't talk beforehand.
Well, and drag out the series even further, right? Where it's like, great, I'm not going to see anything Tayshia related until the next episode. Mm-hmm. And I literally went on my little recorder and I went forward to see in a little window box, preview box, to see, Tayshia's back towards the end of this episode. Okay, I guess this is worth just putting up with. Which let's face it, America is putting up with Claire at this point.
Yes, and then we're all done with it. And even them sitting there telling their love story, it's like none of it made sense. None of it made sense to me because she's like, he always had my back. It's like in 9 days, that's not that hard to do. So always is such a weird word.
He came over to you and asked you if you were okay when you were crying.
Yeah, that's the bar. That's the bar. It's a very low bar for Claire. And then she's like, I've had to beg guys to like me. And he was just always there for me. He's always had my back. Like when I couldn't find my wine glass, he got me one that one time. When she
basically repeated what you were nailing her on last episode when you were talking about how the fact that when you have that one friend, she gives all the wrong signals, the red flags, why she should not be dating this guy because she knows nothing about this person.
Yeah.
That's what their whole tell-all was about.
It seriously was. And then
it was Chris Harrison trying to save face saying, you guys did not message. Let's be clear. And she's like, no, I swear on my father's grave again. All right. So okay, we'll believe that. Right.
Yeah.
But the whole rest of that segment was like you said, like, oh, he's always had my back all 9 days I've known him. Like,
and then they're like, what's next steps? And she's like, babies. And he was just like, he just moved on. He didn't even acknowledge the answer or response.
I will say this. I was watching his Dale's. I was watching Dale's reaction to all of this.
Yeah.
And I think he's taken a little bit of too much criticism by people. The meme world exploded with his face and his reaction to this. However, I think it was a totally normal reaction for a guy who's just getting to know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but we're test driving this for a little while. We're not going to jump into kids and then really potentially screw up somebody's future here. Like, but that's I'm not talking about either of theirs. I'm talking about like having a kid, and God forbid, like they end up getting divorced, and this kid goes like, "How did you guys meet?" "Oh, well, we met for 9 days on a reality TV show, only to realize we don't have anything in common, and we had a baby because I wanted him right away."
Well, I think the smartest guy on our podcast pointed out that this is, with her being older, it's going to elevate her timeline, and the fact that they got engaged after 9 days. I think it's 9 days total. She wants babies right away too, and
I don't blame her for that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, like, I understand her clock is ticking when it comes to having babies. However, they did just get engaged, not married. They got engaged.
Yeah.
Let's make sure. Again, and this goes back to the points you were making about how it's like she just jumps into the. You can tell she's the type that just jumps into the hottest guy that walks into the bar kind of concept. And like, she knew she loved him from the moment she saw him. It's like, you don't get to know any of these guys. You're not getting to know any of these guys.
And like, it makes me nervous too. Not that I see this in Dale, but a lot of the crazy guys are empathetic forward. It take like, I'll be there for you. What's going on? Are you okay? What's happening? It's like, like means to an end guy, like they'll do whatever they have to do. In that short amount of time, it'd be very hard to find out a genuine person, just from a couple interactions when Yosef yelled at you. Oh, by the way, speaking of Yosef, how do you think he liked the Speedos in the basketball game?
Much more tasteful.
Much more tasteful. Exactly.
Because the Speedos didn't fly off. So
yeah. But like Yosef yelled at her, and he goes over there, and she was looking for him anyways. It's not like he went out of his way to do anything. She found him because she wanted to be with him because she was already goo goo gaga over him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. It's like, you have to be careful because the people that are very empathetic forward, trust takes a long time to earn, I think. And, while everyone's there on a sped up course, I think what I'm trying to say is Claire sucks. So,
I think most of us can agree to that, but yeah, I think, because my approach is a little bit different. My approach is, from the very beginning, you have my trust, but it's easily broken.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I try and lean in forward that way, just to be like, look, I trust you until you give me a reason not to. That's
how I go through life too. But, I'm not saying that's the best way of doing it, but at the same time, it's such a low bar, such a fast time frame that, even with,
you can't trust it because of the time frame, essentially, is what's going on.
And it's kind of like, with dating, we've both are married or been married, like in the beginning of a relationship, you're super, super on and super cognizant. As time goes on, you're not as on it. Maybe that's why I'm not married anymore. Maybe you're still this way, but it's like, it's, that kind of fizzles out. And him being Johnny on the spot for her, just with the progression of time and growing in their lives together, assuming they'll work together, it's going to get further and farther apart. And she's going to get really mad that, she's like, I'm feeling really crummy. He's like, but I haven't been out with the boys in 3 months. And it's JoJo's birthday, and he rented out all of Fuddruckers, like all the stuff that guys our age do. And she's going to get really mad. And then she's going to punish him.
Well, and that's the thing that we don't ever find out about these episodes and the show in general, is because you don't actually get to, like, that's why all these marriage or these engagements don't actually end up lasting, or very few of them do, is because they don't get to know each other under a normal circumstance. You get to know each other on vacation honeymoons and over fireworks.
It's all honeymoon. And, you know,
And
once the like I always say, you have to find someone to navigate the mundane with, because once all the exciting stuff goes away and you're looking at bills, or you're looking at a pile, you know, leaves in the yard that need to be raked, or, you know, piles and piles of laundry, like, you're not going to be like, hey, remember Bali? Remember La Quinta? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I put it this way. I ask my wife this all the time. I say, if I had a nickel for every time our date night involved a run to Target, what color would my Ferrari be? So
red. Red and white. Yeah.
This episode brought to you by Target. Not really. Maybe not sponsored by Target, but
no. Now we'll have a Target on our back.
We don't have that kind of money to make that kind of statement.
Thanks for the cease and desist, Alex.
My point being is, like, you have a great phrase for it, is navigate the mundane together, because there's going to get to a point where it's not all sunshine and rainbows. In fact, it is quite mundane.
Yeah.
But how do you find that magic in those moments?
How do you make, like, you know, like, it'd be very hard to start a relationship off where, you know, you're standing on a golf course with fireworks exploding after you had, you know, the winners of this loser music show sing to you, and like, and all of a sudden you're kind of like, you know, like,
winners of this loser music
show. Am I wrong?
You're killing me.
But it's like, you know, like, all of a sudden it's, you know, you're like, it's Friday night, you know, what do you want to do tonight? Well, why don't we go for a walk in the neighborhood? That's like a date night. That totally acceptable date night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
let's just
I don't
spend
know.
some time away from the screens, away from the phones, away from anything that, you know, that the house is calling upon us. Let's just go for a walk, hold hands, and spend time together. Right.
And I laughed because, like, they showed, like, her jumping the jump rope the same time that he does, you know, like, when they were together, when she was making that really bad salad.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's going to be a point in time when he wants to jump rope and not jump at the same time as you. And I think that's an actual literal demonstration of they're doomed.
Because that jump rope going to keep spinning. It's going to keep going round and round.
Correct.
They're going to get tired. There's going to be fatigue there.
Resentment's going to grow. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I will hunt down Claire and Dale and Venmo them $20 if this thing actually lasts.
How long?
Are we going to go over and under on this one?
Yeah.
Oh.
I
9
say,
months.
Okay. I was going to give it a year over under, because I think you have to keep up appearances when you make such a bold statement. You know, or he's going to try and get ready for paradise.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I don't know. Interesting take, but she's gone. Thank goodness.
I think he's kind of burning his bachelor bridge too, though. I would be shocked, based on most likely viewer ratings, if they ever invite her back to anything, if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. I
kind of put Dale in that same boat. I think people would just more so guilt by association. Like, I could care less to see Dale ever again. Which is the poor guy's only said like 5 lines in the whole freaking season so far.
It's kind of funny though, because you sign up, you know, let's be real. You sign up for this show to go on these awesome adventures, grow your personal brand, and then, you know, some find love, but it's like 3 people have done it, 4 people have done it. So you kind of like, it's kind of like going on this, you know, it's like going on The Amazing Race. We're going to go into another show that I like to watch, but it's like them grabbing you after episode 2 and just plopping you at the finish line. You're kind of like, well, no, I kind of wanted to run the race. I wanted to do the challenges, I want to do all these different things, but you just plucked me out of the race day 2, and then you stuck me down on the final mat. And it's kind of like, there's no money involved, and people seeing me week to week is going to actually grow my worth. You know, like, I mean, he got plucked out super quick, and
yeah.
He had no chance to grow his personal stock. I mean, he was about to go from Party City to, you know, Halloween Town. He was about to make that jump, and now all of a sudden, Spirit. Yes, that's what it was. That's what I was.
Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, he was about to make it big, and now no one knows who he is. And he's stuck with Claire.
I do apologize because I didn't hear anything you said up until that point until I remembered it was Spirit.
I had the orange logo.
I picked up.
Yeah, that's not where I was going. That's why we finish each other's sandwiches.
Shit.
So
all right. So let's just wrap up Claire because I cannot wait to not talk about her anymore. So just a lot of platitudes and things that people say when they really don't know their significant other are mentioned to Chris, and Chris wants to just try and save the brand of Bachelor and Bachelorette and make sure and have her repeat to the world that they weren't, sexting each other before the season started. Right.
Yeah.
So that's confirmed. She's scaring the crap out of Dale by talking about how fast she wants to move with stuff when he's not quite there yet naturally, in my opinion. I would be very intimidated too, but that's just because, again, part of that's the age difference. I mean, there's a lot going against this thing.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like Dale blinked and he found himself engaged and he's going to be like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah.
To your point, like his career ain't doing anything at this point. Like
he wasn't
on there long enough. I'm sure his agent has probably broken 3 TV screens because he's thrown his beer at it every time he's watching the episode by watching him move so fast.
Like I feel like I know Riley, and I feel like I know Jason more than I know.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, Riley's great.
He seems like to be like the guy the most like level head out of all of them. Like I feel like he's done more. He gets more. Like,
well, he's pragmatic. He's pragmatic, which is nice in the emotional world, because you see like Jason, who's super emotional, like too emotional to the point where he's like fighting off the demons in his head. Where Riley kind of like breaks it down, and be like, "Nah, man, you lunch meat." You like this is not.
Which
how
I can't wait
works.
to get in there. I can't wait to get with Spencer and the lunch meat metaphor. I like that.
So let's get.
Claire's gone. Dale's gone. Zippity doo dah. Actually, I can't say that either. Yippee.
Oh, don't worry.
It's so hard.
Splash Mountain's closed, so I think that we're you don't have to worry about zippity doo dah anymore.
Yeah, if it's not COVID, it's political correctness.
It's the Princess Frog, which will be a good ride.
That actually looks legit, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm disappointed because my childhood is like going to die with that transition, but
I know.
Anyways, we digress.
Yeah, seriously. So I'm happy because I felt, and I don't want to be premature with my scores here, but I feel like we got our show back.
Yes.
And Tayshia's a breath of fresh air. I think she's great. I think that she's funny. I think that she's,
she's bubbly. She's got a great personality. She's going to get along well with the guys. The guys just can't screw it up or be hung up on this stupid Claire character.
And you know what I think was another issue with the show was that there was no villains. All the guys got along in the COVID, in the Claire.
They're all cool dudes. Joseph was the only weirdo.
And so now they bring in 2 villains. Like, we need to spice this up. And I think Spencer came out of the gate. Spencer looks like Chris Pine if he worked at Best Buy. And
I'm looking at a picture of him right now.
It's not a good description of him.
He does have a Chris Pine-ness to him, yeah.
Yeah, he has the eyes that don't match the body look, the eye color. And he comes in immediately and he starts talking shit. And he starts, like, pounding his chest, like, hey, you guys were here before.
Very confident.
Confident? I think it was intentional. And then they had Tayshia give out a rose that didn't mean anything. He got the first impression rose for Tayshia, but they didn't even have a rose ceremony, and then he was still on the chopping block, the next day.
Yes.
Which I thought was strange.
Well, what I think, or what I really appreciate about this episode was the psychological aspect of what's unfolding. And I feel like you have all these new guys, they're coming in fresh, they're excited, they're getting to know everybody. Meanwhile, you have all of these, like, let's just call them alumni, right?
Yeah, they're vets.
All these upperclassmen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, these guys are on their level, and that level is now even. There's no there's no like, oh, I've progressed further. I do feel bad for these guys, these alumni, because it's like, dude, they've been grinding it out for the last 9 days, only start from square one again.
Yeah.
Where these other guys are gonna be like, they're gonna be, fresh, they're ready, they're they haven't been keeping themselves up at night wondering if they're the next one on the chopping block. So I can imagine these alumni are a little bit fatigued, but I do think about like the ego factor in all of these guys. I think that's kind of why you're seeing all of these guys kind of pick on Spencer.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't deserve it. He definitely deserves it because he's definitely asking to be singled out and he's playing a bit of the villain. But I think what's exacerbating all of this is this element of ego. These guys are pissed that these let's just call them kids, right? These underclassmen are now coming up and like, hey, I'm on your level. Let's, and I'm going to win this thing.
They're also a little entitled, but I got to give, what's his name? I got to give Ivan. I got to give Ivan some props, man. He came on, he dumped every ounce of molasses onto Tayshia, in their first meeting to get that first impression rose. I mean, he was smoother than anything, any contestant I've seen probably ever. I mean, he literally was saying all the right things. He had the right tempo. He had the right body language. I mean, this guy was like fucking killing it. And then Spencer comes in and gets the rose, and he just gets so defeated. Like, he put his whole game plan and strategy into works, and it didn't go anywhere. But I was impressed. I mean, he got my rose for what it's worth.
Can I just say too? I actually do like Ivan.
I do too.
I think he's a genuine dude.
Fine sinker, he got me.
He's that dude's probably looking at himself in the mirror this morning saying, I wonder how many more ways I'm gonna kick myself in the nuts today. Because he like you said, he pitched a perfect game, and the last out, the outfielder dropped the ball. It's kind of like something out of his control happened, and he's kind of like my underdog. I'm kind of rooting for him. And then, but I do have to say, like, I don't know how Ed is still around. He's such a weird looking dude.
Oh, yeah.
He must be freaking hilarious.
Well, it looks like he's going to self-implode next episode. But, like, you have Ivan, Ivan turned on this smooth, really, I'm like blown away by this guy. And then Easy took it to a different level. Easy went like,
he went hometown because they're in the same freaking neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he went hometown with her. Like,
he went hometown, but he also went like Tropic Thunder on, he was like super like jumping around, spraying champagne.
What do you mean, you people?
No, not that. I mean, just, like, it was Simple Jack. Like, he went like
Simple Jack.
He went so affable, like overly affable, and he's a very charismatic guy. He jumped through the thing to start, and but he went so affable. He went almost cartoon character. And it's kind of like you so different sides of the spectrum where I don't know. And then I thought Jordan C really turned it on too. He turned his game up too. Jordan C is the software accountant from New York City with the glasses. Yeah. He turned up his game too. Like, you have to respect these guys in their game because you didn't get to see it the first time around because it was all Dale. I just think Easy went to cartoon character. And then you have Blake Moynes, who went from a front runner to nothing, and then you have Bennett, who stays awesome through the whole thing. Like,
Bennett, for as much crap as we gave Bennett at the onset of this series, he's like my favorite. He's like he keeps it cool, he keeps it classy, he speaks his mind. He ain't afraid to talk shit about people, like, to their face, right? Yeah. And his jokes were fucking killer.
I think Bennett, even when he gets eliminated, should be allowed to stay and just comment, and then
he should co-host with Chris. That's what he should do.
That's what
Bennett would be a money to succeed him.
I believe. Well, you can't succeed a legend, but I mean, like, you just have the Bennett credit hour, which is the best when they just have Bennett during the credits,
walking around his chateau.
Yes.
Or his villa. Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, he kind of turned the corner for me a little bit. But okay, so Tayshia gives Spencer the first impression rose, and then she canceled the rose ceremony, which makes sense. And then she has a pool basketball game where all the guys get in Speedos. Well, first off, they have a scene where the guys walk in, then Tayshia emerges from the pool. How long was she underwater for? Do you think they're like, the boys are walking in, it's going to take them 5 seconds to get to this point, go underwater for a solid 10 count, and then emerge, and then
I'm wondering how much of it, like how much, again, I always like to think how outlandish these producers are. What if she had like a red light, green light underneath, like, in the water with her? So like light's red and it's like light turns green. Okay, I can walk out.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, I fantasized about that for some reason. Not about her, just about the fact that like all these guys, the cameras, and they're trying to time everything. And maybe she had like a pit crew who was like snorkeling her like oxygen or something while she waited. I don't know. But like,
yeah, and then like all the guys had to go pee, so she was under there for 20 minutes with the oxygen. like, no, guys, it's your mark, go.
No, it's one of the guys, not all of them. Like it's like, oh, geez, it's, of course it would be, who would I pick? Who would be the guy? Who would be the one guy in your book right now? The big guy's like, of course he has to go to the bathroom right now and hold everything up.
Zach C.
Because
I don't like how he wears his Jordans with his Jason. Jason's the one fixing his eyebrows in the bathroom. He's the one.
I feel like Jason is just like, I don't know if you call it eye candy, but I feel like the cameras always just show to him, like they pan to him or they cut to him whenever he's reacting to something being said. You actually never hear really anything he is saying, or like they're never cutting to him when he's speaking his mind about something. It's always just his face when he's reacting to something somebody says.
Jason Jason looks like he's always trying to guess what flavor gummy bear he just ate.
Yes.
Like he's kind of like,
that's what I'm saying. Like they always just cut to him and he's like, like he's like pensive, right?
He's like thinking about what flavor gummy bear was that. So they have this pool basketball game, and then things got a little rough. Riley does not like Spencer. No one really likes Spencer. So Riley, I say intentionally hit him. You say he didn't intentionally hit him. There's some blood in the pool. Very low scoring game, by the way.
I'm saying intentionally shrugged him off aggressively. I don't think he was actually meaning to pop him in the mouth the way that he did. I think it was just one of those angry, like, get the F off me. Like, the ball had exited the field of play. He was getting out of the pool, and he was still pulling him back. And I think it was like a shrug. He's just having to pop him with his knuckles.
I think it was intentional. I think there was an intent to send a message. What do you think? Tweet us at RO Stones, guys. Let us know what you think. Losing team.
What if I win?
I'll split the $20. I'll split the $20 with you for Claire and Dale. I'll parlay it.
Perfect.
But the losing team went back, and there was a barbecue that they talked heavily about.
Yes,
with
the hot dogs.
that they didn't show anything from. Okay.
They were raving about the spread.
Weren't those good hot dogs last? Yeah, great hot dogs. We're gonna go have hot dogs. Never saw it. Maybe that's code for an orgy, but I could be digressing. But then the guys came back. She thought Zach C was the most impressive, as Spencer thought he was going to get it again. And then she oddly spoke to everyone in the group about things that she liked. So it was kind of one of those weird moments when no one knew who was going to get the rose. And she gave it to Zach C, which I think he's fine, but I don't like his style sense.
He's the dude that wore the gray suit with the white Air Force Ones, right?
Correct, yeah.
And for that alone, he should be just walked out. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, so then Jason leaves on his own accord, and I'll give Jason props because he at least said, she's like, I'm afraid that these guys feel the same way, and he's like, those guys are all there for you. He had the guys back through and through.
Mm-hmm.
But he was tormented.
Well, and the good thing too is that he had I guess I should say from Tayshia's perspective or standpoint, he had the luxury of being able to talk to the guys about how he was feeling and hear that they were not on the same page as him, right? Yeah. So when he says that, it's like, look, I talked to these guys. When I've said my heart's not in it with you, it's not because of you as a person. It's just, again, there's some stronger words that I've used with you off the recorded line here, but Claire destroyed him psychologically.
Yes, I believe that too.
And I think that there's not. I'm very upset that nobody's bringing that up, to the fact that she just absolutely destroyed him, only so she could toss her dress in the fire and then leave with
Correct.
somebody else.
Correct.
Very irresponsible with somebody's brain.
Very irresponsible. And then she had a one-on-one date with Brendan. Brendan.
Brendan, yeah. Not Brandon, Brendan.
Brendan looks like, and stay with me on this one, if the main character in Pinocchio was not a puppet, but a scrub daddy. So a scrub daddy that became a real boy is Brendan. So
he is a very unique looking individual, and I see where you're getting at.
Yeah, it's the Brillo hair, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, he looks like steel wool. But so they go on this horse ride, and apparently they couldn't leave the grounds of the hotel because they rode the horses on the sidewalks,
cobblestones,
through the whole thing. And he was talking about it was his first time on a horse. I feel bad for the guy because that's not really an experience. Chris Harrison realized how lame the date was going to be, so he ran around and
offer them treats
and drinks. And Brendan felt like Chris was salting his game a little bit until dinner.
That was true. He's like, dude, get out of here.
I'm trying to make my move, man. Ooh. And then they go in a pool and he kisses her, a real awkward kiss, but whatever. Then they go to dinner and he had a big secret to tell her. He's been divorced, but he didn't do his homework because so has she. And it's all copacetic. And they get.
Can you blame him though? How is he supposed to have done his homework on her? He wasn't expecting her to come around. So
yeah, I guess I forgot she got married too, but I have to demonstrate a superiority complex. So of course I would have known that.
That's one thing I did remember. So when he mentioned that, I'm like, oh, he's going to be a front runner strictly for those reasons. Cause he's been there. They're going to be able to bond over a lot in that standpoint.
For sure. And then they watch fireworks and then the episode ends. And here we are.
I just have a question. Cause remember, Brendan was the guy who went on date. Not to say with Brandon, who just, thought Claire was hot and got walked out immediately after basically talking to her for about 5 minutes. Do you think Brandon would find Tayshia hot?
I want that guy back. I mean, he
to have a conversation with Tayshia.
Literally, who cares? I don't know you, so tell me about yourself. That's an acceptable answer on a blind first date. It's like Claire thought she was like Salvador Dali. You don't know me or my work. It's like
seriously though. And again, which made her so much of an unlikable character. Again, just can I just say this too though? I love the guys jumping out of the chairs and out of their seats as fast as they freaking can. When Tayshia's like, who wants to go first? And I'm like, Claire's watching that being like, those SOBs. They waited 2 seconds to get up.
But there's a difference because Tayshia is like, who wants to go first? Claire sits back is like, why is no one jumping up? It's like, if you don't like the situation, make a request and see if it changes.
Yeah, I'm
talking a lot with my hands. I'm like,
Here's the difference. Claire goes, all right, so let's do this. Tayshia goes, all right, so who wants to go first? It's like one question implies that hey, we're about to initiate the one-on-one portions of our group date night, right? Or our cocktail hour.
We're shifting into the next phase of the night. The phase where you court me. So
and I just love it. Tayshia just has such a better attitude about all of this. I felt like Claire was so, like you said, she thought she was Salvador Dali is an interesting character to pick, but pick be a person to pick, but
my friend of my mind thought isn't, I don't know where it's going to go.
I just think of Midnight in Paris, and he's like, Pero I no ceros.
Good movie.
I haven't watched that great movie yet.
Great movie.
We should review that movie.
There you go.
Anyways, well, also wait, let's rate it, but we have to fill our listeners in to tis the season of what we're about to really embark on.
Movies. If you like Hallmark movies and you like feeling special, if you feel let down knowing that all the actresses voted for Trump, we're here to talk to you about all the Hallmark movies.
And also, I'm going to have, we had the meaty scale for all these Bachelor seasons.
Yeah.
we are going to be, or at least for me, and I want to see you go to this, I'm going to have the princess counter. So every movie on Hallmark, or if it's a Netflix version of it, whatever we, as we go through these, I want to see how many we go through that have the words princess in the title or involve a princess. You'd be shocked.
Like a princess that didn't know she was a princess?
Well, like that, or, a girl from the city who somehow finds her way in a baking competition and becomes a princess. Yes, that is a plot. We will go over that.
I can't wait.
But let's wrap this up.
Before we can't miss Babes in Toyland too. I know that's not a Hallmark movie, but that is the worst Christmas movie of all time.
Should we do one for the guys and do Die Hard too? Maybe Lethal Weapon. Those are Christmas movies.
I don't know, but if you want to watch a good show, watch 60 Days In. It's on Netflix. I'm telling you.
I'll do that.
If you're a guy watching guy stuff. Okay. Anyway, this is Romancing Our Stones. We give every single episode we watch a rating based on how bad or good it is to watch. We each have 2 stones to give.
Naturally, we do.
And 2 stones means you enjoy the episode. It was enjoyable. 0 stones means an active castration would be preferable to watching this episode. So, Alex, why don't you go first?
Way more entertaining. The Claire portion really did nothing for me. In fact, just traumatized me again. It was like kind of like, a little PTSD kicked in of how much I hate her character. Not her. I don't know her personally. So I hate her character and how they portray her this season. But if it was all Tayshia, probably would have gotten a 2-star. 2 stars. What am I talking about? Stars.
This isn't Romancing Our Stars.
I don't know. Stones. Maybe this beer is a little heavier than I thought it was. But I'm going to give it a solid 1. Not a hesitant 1, a solid 1. Meaty scale. And I know you used this in the past. I'm going to give it it was a solid pork chop.
Okay.
Wasn't T-bone, but still meaty, delicious. Many ways to cook it. I thought it was good. That was good.
Okay. Pork chop. There you go. So I'm going to give it 2 stones. And I feel like T.O. right now, when I say that's my quarterback, like I feel like Tayshia is what we need to get this franchise back.
She's our Bachelorette.
The Claire and Dale portion was a perfect time to go up and take a shit. So, yes, it sucked in the middle, but it also gave you time to refill your drink. It gave you time to really, for me to hug my children. It gave me opportunities for me to do good in this world as opposed to sit and hear this bullshit. And then I got to finish the episode with a cleansing palette of guys in Speedos playing pool games and Chris Harrison and horses, all that stuff. All the stuff you watch is for. So 2 stones from me, 1 stone from Alex. You put them together, you divide by 17, you times it by 17, that's 3 stones. And on the meaty scale, it's a pork chop.
Yes. So with that, sorry again to our listeners, a little late coming to you, but we will be pronto, right on time with tomorrow's episode.
Okay, sounds good. And follow us on Twitter at RO Stones Guys, on Instagram at RO Stones Guys, on YouTube at RO Stones Guys. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, share, follow,
comment,
all the stuff. Jazz. Help us spread the love. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
How do we do? 35, 36?